Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody tuning in from around the world for yet another USI Tech Hangout. I thought I would change my surroundings, as did my esteemed colleague in the UK, John Smith, today. So I've got a number of commitments and we're expanding and moving premises to a slightly larger premises. So here I am in the store today, and John keeps telling me that I'm not working out sufficiently hard enough during these Hangouts and I seem to be drinking too much. So I thought I'd do something about it today and just brighten it up a little bit for you. What do you think of that, John? Impressive?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you've actually listened to me, that you had been putting a little bit of, bit of timber on, should we say. So it's nice to see you working out. I hope the water doesn't start coming through, though, all right?
Hopefully not. I kept it dry because my swimming is just not great, so, and that's way too energetic, exercising in water. I normally drink in water, not exercise, but anyway, there we go.
You may notice
lots going on.
I'm in a different surrounding today, as you may see. I'm at the Hilton Maidstone. We've got a live event going on for USI Tech. We're going to go in the room around about 8:30 because we've got one of the directors joining us on the call. So I'm going to interrupt the meeting and let them listen to what Mr. Keifer has got to say.
Yeah, exciting stuff. It's great to have him coming on board. For those of you not familiar with Mike, Mike Keifer is the corporate ambassador for USI Tech. Flies all around the world, and John and he have a great relationship. And for anybody looking to get started, that can be so important when I'm not saying we get any favoritism, but it's good to build strong relationships with the corporate team, and we certainly do have that, courtesy of John spending a lot of the time with them in Germany and then subsequently after many events. John is in Maidstone, which is, for those of you around the world, sort of southeast London and down a bit. So, that's close enough, I guess, for most people to get a steer on where he's coming from today. But John runs a massive amount of live events around the UK. We're expanding that into the US here. And Mike Keifer, who I've just mentioned, spends his time traveling the globe, literally. We talked about this last week, but supporting the launch of USI in different countries. I know he's been in the Philippines and most of Asia with a series of events going on out there. So let's get down to it. What are we going to do today? Well, we're mixing it up a little bit. So as always, and as promised, we're always going to do the presentation of USI, which we're going to jump straight into now. As John has mentioned, we're going to be joined at hour. So wherever you are in the world, in about 25 minutes, by Mike Keifer himself. It's going to give you the opportunity that if you've got some questions, write them down. We'll try and go through as many of those as we can do. I'm hoping that Mike may have a little bit of news. We like to be the first informed on things that are breaking in USI. So we'll push him hard on that, whether or not he's going to bend and give us a few tidbits that we're waiting on. I don't know, can't promise that, but let's see what happens when he joins us. Mike's made a massive effort to get on the call, so please use this to your advantage. And if you're tuned in and you haven't got the rest of your team here, please give them a shout out, get onto Facebook, send them text messages, email your list, whatever you need to do, because people do not want to miss this opportunity of talking to the man direct. In addition to that, we'll talk about a few tools that we've got to help you build the business. John will talk to you about the meetings that are going on nationally now, how he's trained certain individuals now to be presenting those meetings, and I won't steal his thunder. I'll let him tell you about that. But let's get cracking. Let's get straight into the nuts and bolts, because Mike's going to be joining us in 24 minutes. We'll do the presentation on Bitcoin, touch very briefly on Forex as we go through that. But for those of you here for the first time, this will give you some idea of exactly how USI Tech allow us to trade currencies in a completely automated fashion. So let's get on with it. Just going to drop in, share my screen, pick up the presentation. I know Mr. Smith will give me a thumbs up on that as soon as he can see my screen.
We can see that, so you're good to go.
Good to go. Fantastic. Okay, well, before we start, we always like to get out a disclaimer, and that reads that proof of payment on what we're about to show you is in no way a guarantee that you're going to earn the same, but it would be possible to do that and more with equal or greater strategy and work ethic. Any earning figures that we're going to show you are not a guarantee of income, but figures are presented for illustration purposes only. So what are we going to go through? Well, as last week, we're going to take you through USI and Bitcoin packages, the very product that has got 58,000 people joining this business since March. Very simple, very easy to understand. You need no experience, no knowledge. You just need a will and at least 50 euros to get started. It's completely passive. You don't have to refer anyone, but we're then going to take you into the BTC Bitcoin compensation plan, which will tell you what the benefits are for doing exactly that. We'll talk about incentives, Mallorca coming up, the car bonuses that the company have put in place, which are incredible. So if you want to find out what they are, it gives everybody an opportunity of achieving those at some point. It's very much time driven. And of course, we're going to get through this pretty rapidly because we're going to be joined by Mike Keifer, the corporate ambassador to USI Tech. I'm just repeating that in case people have just joined in and tuned in. And it's going to give you an opportunity of asking him questions directly. So get your pen and paper working and jot those questions down if you have them. I'm sure he'll do his best to answer. I know John's probably going to take us into his meeting, that's streaming live from Maidstone, USI, but Maidstone in the UK. But let's get rolling. So straight into the first slide. This is basically about when vision and perfection come together, and you're going to see that as we go through the presentation. Great things certainly can happen, and this is a completely different dimension in direct marketing. So who are USI? Well, they're a technology company that specializes and has done for many years in the development of automated trading software. And what that simply means to many of you out there, it's robots or expert advisors that do the trading on our behalf. And there is a major benefit of having something that works reliably so that you don't have to sit in front of a screen and execute signals or even throw yourself into years and years of learning the Forex and currency trading market. So who are they? Well, we've mentioned Mike Keifer. He's going to be on the call very shortly. It's a four-man team and a very impressive team for that. John and Grant flew into Germany right at the outset back sort of March, beginning of March time to meet the guys. You've got João Felipe Fernandez Severino, who's been working with clients since 2007 with an incredibly strong track record. And he's created well over 100 expert advisors or robots in the past 20 years for VIP clients and the corporate world, the banking world. And up until around October last year, 2016, you would have needed well over $100,000 to get access to what we're going to be talking about today. Ralph Gold, well, he's managed and traded for numerous VIP clients. He is the brains behind a lot of the trading and the programming of the software. And as it says here, he's produced results consistently, providing great return on investments. Horst Jitcher is and comes from a corporate background, has floated two companies and taken them PLC. What I can tell you is these individuals are financially very secure in their own right. They're not here purely for the money. It's wrong of me to say they're not here for the money. We're all here for the money. But one of the great things and one of the reasons that John and myself got involved was really getting an understanding of what these individuals were about, their skill sets, their business acumen, what their financial background is, and really where they could take a massively growing company in the coming months and years.
I think it's worth saying on that, Lee. I mean, the board is, you know, there's no overlap there. They've all got their own skill set and they all integrate very, very nicely. And as you said, they are all independently financially sound. That was very important for us when we got involved initially. And, you know, Horst has taken two companies to flotation, one for 5 million, one for just short of 50 million. So, you know, he's got good experience in building companies, corporate governance, what is needed to make sure the company is protected. Certainly from a compliance point of view as well, because, you know, there are compliance issues. I know Bitcoin's not regulated, but, you know, on the compensation plans, there are compliance angles that we need to adhere to. And that is all being put in place for us to protect this company going forward. So it's an important point because we're here for the long term.
And I think the points you make there, John, one thing that's worth adding to that is that, you know, this company, and this is what's amazed me more than anything probably, is that they've done all of this up front. They're not trying to build this as they get money coming in, etc. There is no monthly fee, no subscription to be here. You just decide to get started, and we'll go through that in a moment. But what I can tell you on the point of compliance is that, for example, for the US, USI Tech have employed, without any question, the best legal attorney there is, lawyer over here, for the network marketing industry or MLM industry. I've known him from his involvement in a number of companies previously, but those are the sort of things that are taking place. We're not waiting until there's an issue. USI Tech are getting involved and making sure that the company is compliant across the globe, hiring the key people, the very best people in the world, to ensure that that remains the same, and that is their long-term strategy for sure. So we're going to look specifically today about Bitcoin. What is it? Well, we're not going to just dwell on this slide too long, but it's a cryptocurrency. It's probably the fastest growing currency, let alone cryptocurrency, out there in the world at the moment. It was started off around 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto and has gone really from strength to strength since then. And you're going to see from the following slides that experts predict that, such as these guys, Richard Branson, you've got there at the top, and they're all very much in agreement that it's going to have a mainstay place in our lives. Most of you will be familiar with PayPal. I think you're going to see Bitcoin become a household name. And if you're not that familiar with it at the moment, you'll see that the media globally now is talking about it because it is making such a mark in the trading world. It's gone through and smashed through every prediction, way ahead of its time. And these guys, you know, are feeling that we could be expecting to see more than a 400% increase in the next 1 to 2 years. We were hoping that it may reach 2,000 by the end of this year. It's smashed through that, almost hit 3,000. It does go up and down. If some of you are worrying or concerned that it is going up and down, it's volatile, in other words, well, that's great. That is beneficial for our trading, because if something remains static, it's very difficult to trade that market. So the fact that it is moving and obviously changing with political influences, and maybe as more and more people are now coming in and buying it, and more people are beginning to accept it globally as far as merchants, online processors and so on, then you're going to see as demand increases and supply reduces, because there is a limited supply, then the price will continue to push.
And of course, you've got nations recognizing it as a currency now, which is very important as well for the long-term stability and value of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and that's changing. I mean, we get updates continually coming through, and we've posted some in the group this week about different countries now accepting it as a currency. And gradually you're going to find it's got to happen, that it's going to, that's exactly what's going to happen globally. It's got such momentum now, and it's shaking the banking world up. They're not comfortable with this at all, because it's actually replacing and doing away with what most of us hate, which is high fees, lengthy delays for absolutely no reason. We know that, and yet we put up with it. Well, here's the alternative now. And these machines, John was just talking about in his meeting south of London to the audience there. These are popping up all over the place now, and you'll see more and more of these. So let's talk about the Bitcoin product. What is it? How does it work? But you've got the opportunity now, very simply, without any knowledge, to participate in the profits of Bitcoin mining and trading. So let's explain how it works. Well, you can purchase one USI Tech Bitcoin package in €50 lumps. There's actually a fee attached to that, works out at €54. And you can receive around 1% per working day. Let me stress that, that's per working day. There's no trading at weekends or national holidays, for roughly around 140 days, and get a return on capital of 140%. Let me just dwell on the return of capital. What that means is that you're getting your initial money back in percentage payments every day as that package is traded for €54 or €50 plus the fee. And then you're getting a 40% profit return, approximately, because it does vary every day as the trades vary every day, on top of your initial purchase. So that's what we mean by return of capital at 140%. So it doesn't take a genius to work out 140 days, 140% approximately is around on average of 1% per day. So how are the packages traded? Well, they're traded in a number of ways, and that's the great thing about USI Tech. They're not using one particular route. I should say they're altcoin mining. I keep meaning to change it every week and forget after the hangout, but they're trading in a variety of different ways. So much like anything, if market conditions vary, there's an alternative to look at the best place, the market conditions on that particular day, as to where USI Tech are going to focus the trading of those packages. And there is a huge array of those. So for example, if you take large movement trading such as the US dollar against the value of Bitcoin, the exchange rate that day, it may be the movement and the best movement is there, and that's where they'll focus. It could be another currency against the Bitcoin rate. It could be in altcoin mining, it could be in partnership mining, arbitrage trading. There's a host of ways, but all you really need to know at the moment, because there is no platform, and we're going to be talking to Mike hopefully about that, but a fully transparent platform doesn't exist globally, not within USI, but doesn't exist globally to be able to give you visibility. You'll see that USI Tech do intend to be the first person, or the first company, I should say, that are actually going to bring that to market.
We can ask Mike about that later when he comes on the call as well, because I know it's imminent as well. You know, the transparency of this company. I mean, in the FX, as you know, Lee, it's completely transparent. You have your own segregated account platform for that in what they do with the Bitcoin. But there's certain elements of the of what they do with the Bitcoin where they're going to be complete transparency. So you can imagine, you know, all the people that may be sort of sitting on the fence a little bit. Just waiting for that. It's going to open the floodgates even more.
Yeah, I think we can't predict, like Bitcoin, we can't predict where that's going. We know it's moving forward in an upward direction, but where it's going to be, we've already seen those markers smash through. I genuinely believe that if USI Tech do manage to bring this to market and be the first company ever to launch a transparent Bitcoin trading platform, it's going to rock the industry first of all, and I think everybody that isn't aware of USI Tech will then be aware of USI Tech. And let me tell you, if you're waiting and you haven't got your free account and you're not locked in to your matrix, even if you're not ready to get started, you are mad not to get registered. So go back and talk to the person that invited you here, because after that, if the floodgates open, when this is launched, and Mike will hopefully give us a steer on when that's going to be, then you want those people joining underneath you. Trust me, and we'll explain why. So, conscious of time, we're moving through. So, for an example, 20 Bitcoin packages cost you 50 euros a time, 1,000 euros. Your runtime is approximately 140 working days. Your return of capital will be 1,400 euros on your 1,000 euro purchase. And that's approximate because, of course, the trading percentages vary every day. And of course, John, that's without any increase in Bitcoin value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just that 40%, say just that 40%, is phenomenal anyway. You know, my background, as you know, Lee, financial services, you can't get a product that pays more than sort of 5 or 6% per annum. So, you know, to give 40% back is phenomenal. And like you say, that's without the increase in Bitcoin value. And we was talking about this the other day that, you know, the people that even came in March, they were buying Bitcoin, I think, around about $900, and it's sitting at, what is it? I haven't checked for a few hours, but what, 2.3, somewhere around there. You know, they've already made an absolute fortune without this 1%, you know, return of capital every day.
Yeah, and I think that's what people have got to understand. Just think about that for the moment. You've got 1%, if it's not quite sunk in, you've got your around 40% profit plus your return of capital. So that's great because the company are actually giving you your money back as you go. So talk about low risk. So there's the first thing. Secondly, we know from the historical trading, it's around 1% profit a day. Then and they pay you in Bitcoin. They're not paying you back in euros. You're buying in euros, being paid out in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is at 5,000 by the time this is all done and moving on, maybe a year down the line, look at the money that you're making. You're making it on all sides at a very, very low risk. So I'm going to skip through that slide. There are no restrictions in the number of packages that you can buy, conscious of Mike turning up. So let's just look at the packages in a bit more detail. First of all, you get paid daily in this business. Every day you'll receive a return of capital from the packages that you have running. There are no limits to those packages. You also can do daily withdrawals, providing you have more than 10 euros in your account. You can have withdrawals of your daily return of capital and any commissions that you may make from sharing this with others, which we'll go into in a moment. You can also take those money and you can automatically set your account by the click of one button to rebuy. And that's why we say you don't even really need to log in. You set your account up and you tell the account how much you want to repurchase with, whether it's 100%, 70% of what you're making, etc. And we've got some great strategies. So if you're in John's team or looking at joining John and Grant, then speak to them or speak to the person that invited you here to find the very best strategy based on the amount that you're looking to come in with. And of course, when you do that and you set your account to repurchase, which the majority of people are doing, it results in a highly profitable compounding effect, which John's going to take you through right now.
Yeah, thanks. I was just texting Mike just to tell him that we want him on in about 7-8 minutes. So yeah, like Lee said, you've got the 1%, which is incredible on the returns. And this is an example of how the compound works. So the start capital is €1,000. Return of capital 1%. We're going to assume a consistent of 1%. Like Lee said, it does fluctuate, but for this example, it's 1%. So you start off with €1,000. That buys you 20 BTC packages. Each day you'll see you're getting a return of €10, which means after day 5 you have enough to go and buy another BTC package. So you'll see you'll go from 20 packages to 21, and at that point you're then earning 10.5, €10.50, which means you're going to reach that next package that much quicker. Now, if you can fast forward a yearly, and you'll see after 260 working days, you've actually accumulated 120 packages from a starting position of 20 and a return of €6,000. That's 6 times the amount of your initial capital injection. So, that's how compound works, and it does accelerate your business by repurchasing these packs and having a some people have a 6-month repurchase strategy, and then they might take 20-30%. Some people have a year strategy. Some people have got no strategy. But for us, we certainly we were compounding for the first few months while we build the business. Okay, so this bit, the profit calculator, this is the bit that really floated my boat. This is really why I started getting involved with USI Tech. Yes, I understood Bitcoin and I understood where Bitcoin was going, but there's one thing holding it in your wallet, but there's another thing using that Bitcoin to make more Bitcoin. So in your back office, you've got a profit calculator where you can do some modeling for you or your clients, where you can see what that might look like in a year's time. So this is an example of someone that's come in, bought 50 Bitcoin packages, so €2,500 in equivalent. At the time that they bought that those packages, Bitcoin, it would have cost that person 1.5 Bitcoin. Now, fast forward 250 days, just shy of a year, his Bitcoin's gone from 50 to 282. He's got a daily return of capital of 0.088, and he's got a total fund or pot value, if you like, of 6.8. Now, we've already said Bitcoin is at around about 2,000, 2,300. If you imagine Bitcoin going to, say, 3,000 in a year's time, which is very conservative, you're looking at 3 times that value, okay? Which would give you approximately sort of 18, 19, about 20, 3 times that amount sorry, 3,000, nearly 20,000 euros, and that's for a starting capital of 2,500. If we look at another example, someone's come in with 10,000 euros for 200 packages. Again, this example is showing 250 days. At the time that he bought those 10,000 euros worth of packages, it cost him 6.2 Bitcoin. His Bitcoin's packages have gone from 200 to 1,147. He can now take a daily return of capital of 0.35. And again, total earnings of 27.9. So again, if Bitcoin's at 3,000, that's just short of 90,000 euros. If it's at 4,000, that's just short of 120,000 euros. And again, that's for a 10,000 euro initial capital injection into this business. And for the really big hitters, and you know, there are people coming in with 40, 50, 100,000. This is 100,000. Someone coming in with 100,000 euros, buying 2,000 packs, 250 days. At the time that he bought those packages, it would have cost him 62.5 Bitcoin. You then got total packages of 11,519 and a total earnings of 280. Again, Bitcoin goes to 3,000. You know, that's the equivalent of nearly 900,000 euros. You know, these figures are just phenomenal. Okay, and I think we have been joined by Mr. Keifer. Mike, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Very well, thanks. Very well. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Much appreciated, Mike.
Mike, sorry, Mike. I'm in Maidstone at the moment. We're doing a live meeting as well as webinar, so I'm going to just pop into the room so the guys can actually hear you speaking as well. So we're going to go live because the guys here have got some questions as well. So
I'll just finish this section off, John, and you go in and get yourself set up.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
So as I explained to you, really, if you wanted to do this completely on a passive basis, everything we've shown you so far in the presentation is exactly that. You decide how many packages that you want. We haven't talked about the Forex, which is USI TECH's core product, but we are recommending that everybody does diversify. So the great thing about what you've just seen here is that you start with as little as 50 euros. You can put your toe in the water. You can lock your position in the matrix, which we'll talk about very briefly in a second. But as you start to see what it's doing for you, you're going to want more packages running. You can't help but share it with other people, even though you may not want to do that initially. But we've seen that day in and day out. People who've said, no, I'm not interested in talking to anybody. But when they see what's going on, they're going to tell family, they're going to tell friends. And naturally, then the matrix starts to play a very important part of what we're talking about. Now, I'm going to just because I'm conscious Mike's just joined us and he's very limited for time. So I'm just going to touch on this very briefly. If you need to know more, go back. There's tons of videos where you are watching this now, either on websites or on YouTube. But very simply, the important thing to understand, and this makes a massive difference to the growth of your account, is that the company very generously give you 2 levels of the matrix. What does that mean? Well, very simply, it means that if you happen to go and tell John about this after you've got started, then John becomes your direct referral, and you will receive 10%, and wait for this, 10% of not only what John buys to get started, but you will receive 10% of John's account as it grows for life. So in other words, John buys 1,000 euros of packages, 20 packages. You would receive immediately 10% of that, 100 euros for you to either withdraw or to buy more packages with. And then as John's account grows, then you will receive 10% every time his account buys another package. Just think about that for the moment. And those of you that are marketing and using various tools that we have for you, and you're getting people joining with 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, just think about the difference that that makes to your account. And you don't need many of those people to see a huge difference in your growth rate. In addition to that, the company also give you level 2. So that means that if you brought in John and John referred Mike, then John is going to benefit from 10% from Mike because he's the direct referral there, but you are still getting 3%. Excuse me. Now, what you're going to see happens here is that when people start to realize that, the company are giving you level 1 and level 2 free of charge. But then there is a levels 3 to level 12. It's a 12-level matrix. And the way that you open up levels 3 to 12 is you need to qualify. And the methods are on the left-hand side. I'm not going to go into those now because we're short of time and I want to make sure we get the Mike and John's meeting live in the UK. But take a screenshot or go back and talk to your sponsor or the person that invited you here to watch this, and they'll explain to you exactly how you'll get qualified thereafter. I'm going to skip through these slides here because very simply that's about how the matrix works. And we're going to talk to Mike about incentives, Mallorca, cars, and most importantly, things that I'm hoping that I can extract some information from him about, which obviously is some upcoming massive news out of USI Tech. And I can see Mike cringing in his seat already as I mention that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let me just do that. So that should take us back to where we're at. There we go. John, are you still with us?
We are. We're all plugged in. We've got an audience here watching you on the big screen, and they all agree with me that you need to lose a little bit of weight, Lee. So
we're going to get going, John. So whilst I pass it back to you and you can talk to Mike, I'll get busy.
Good man. Mike, how are you?
I'm great, John. How about yourself?
Good, good, good. You've been traveling a lot, my friend?
Traveling a lot. Just got back from Asia.
Yeah, well, a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
2 days ago, exactly.
Do you want to tell the guys how that trip went, just briefly?
Sure, it went very well. I mean, it was not the first time we went there. It took now about 6 months to set everything up, but it's starting to grow pretty impressively, I would say. We did a little country tour. We started in Malaysia.
Right.
In Kuala Lumpur, was sold out, was very good. Then we went to Manila. The only thing in Asia, you need a lot of patience compared to Europe. Let's say if you start the meeting at 1, they show up, everybody shows up, but about an hour and a half later, it's normal. So you think, oh, wow. I was there, and I think you know Ralph came. He said, Mike, there are 4 people. We have a room for 250. And the other guy said, easy. What? Easy? It's nobody here? Oh, relax. They're coming. And they showed up. The same in Manila. Like, I think we had about 300 almost showed up, but just it's 1.5 hours later. So, but as long as you have food there, everybody's coming. I saw. No kidding. But it was really, really good. From there, we went to Guam. I didn't even know where Guam is before I started here with USI Tech. That's a little island somewhere outside of Japan. It's a US territory. They said, well, come, we do a little leadership meeting. About 450 people showed up. I mean, the room was packed. Amazingly, really, really good. From governor, senator, I think the whole island was there. That was very impressive. And from there, we went to, to Tokyo. We made 300 million yen the first month in sale. That's about 2.5 million. Oh, incredible. And Horace stayed there in Tokyo, and I went to Korea. In Korea, the same. We had full house. But I can tell you, we will have an offer officially probably August 1st in Manila, because we need to do one reason. So you see the company is taking this very, very seriously. Even if they would not have to do it, but they do it. We will have one officially in Tokyo. Opening will be, I think, the first week of September. We already have an office 3, by the way, in Korea. The main office is exactly on the opposite street, or the opposite of our office is Samsung. But Samsung offering is like 2 huge skyscrapers. It's amazing. So very good. We could continue actually to Indonesia, to Cambodia. So Asia is took a while now. So you guys sometimes think, oh, why is not everything coming together the first day? Just have patience. We grow.
Listen, we know you're working really, really hard. Can you just tell us what the functionality of these offices are? Is it support, or because obviously different languages around the world, we understand that you're going to need support. What's the main function of these offices?
First of all, to basically protect the distributors, the partners, for legal reasons, to really go apply 100% with the law with every country. For example, in Manila, we need from the SEC, from the Security and Exchange Commissions, we need the license. We already applied, we already got it. It's in progress. So, and second of all, the Asians, not everywhere, but they like to have, to come to an office. They're more a little bit on that office trip. But basically always to apply with the rules, the regulations, the laws, and just protect basically us all, the distributor who makes business there.
Well, I think that's certainly what a lot of
the company.
Yeah, that's certainly what a lot of us that have been involved in other online opportunities would like to hear. It's music to our ears, because we all view this as a long-term business, and I know there's a lot happening in the background in terms of other things that you're working on. I'm not sure you can share anything with us or give us any snippets of that, but I'm going to put you on the spot and ask. You can tell me to bugger off, or you might be able to share a few little bits. I don't know.
What, 1 Bitcoin?
I've already transferred earlier.
Sure, I could say a little bit about that. Yeah, there are a lot of things going on in the background. You realize today there was they worked on the server. We will move to Amazon servers soon. I think better. It can't be better than Amazon servers. That means we can expand until basically really it's getting really, really huge. So they're preparing for the growth. A lot of things you don't see in the background in terms of there will be a separate client website only for clients, to separate clearly the customer and the distributor. There will be some changes. First of all, languages. You see it's in Japanese. There will be a lot of languages added shortly. They basically upgraded the security as well. I don't know how many times encrypted and how many firewalls, and I'm not the pro here, but it's what I heard, it can't be safer than it is right now. So they're taking care of that issue as well, to protect basically the business, everything as with the highest standard. Then we will, what should I say there? I'm not saying too much. They're working on actually 2 products. One will definitely be introduced on the 20th in London, so everybody should come there and go there.
What's happening on the 28th of October?
There will be the 1-year anniversary of the company. That will be promoted next week. But it's fixed, 28th of October. There will be an additional product. There actually 2 are ready. Well, I'm not saying too much. One I can mention will be in the Forex area again. So keep in mind, we always said we want to provide basically products for everybody where people can make money with their own money, to build several residual income streams, but to diversify as well. So we not only want to be a Bitcoin company, we not only want to be a Forex, just diversify. And you see that's coming along as well, what they do, or what they communicate they're doing. So the 3rd product will come, but the difference is maybe to the one we have right now. The Forex area will be like a sort of high performance product, very interesting and very easy to handle.
And I think
so much and very profitable.
And I think that's what we like about all the products that you've got currently, the 2 products. You don't have to recruit or build teams. Obviously, you get rewarded for doing that. These products can stand alone, and you can earn a decent income from the products itself. Yeah, it's not just recruitment.
Correct.
Okay.
Then now, by the way, for maybe somebody has contacts in the US, there will be an official opening on the 26th of August, sorry, August 26th. So they had a lot of meetings with lawyers and SEC lawyers, and I will know more next week because we have a workshop here in Mallorca. But what I heard, we're 100% will apply with every law. That's why there will be some changes, and there have to be some changes made or done. Because of the US, you know, they're very strict, especially the SEC. So they do not take any chance there. They do everything that was recommended. One thing I can maybe say, there will be a fourth possibility that will make it even easier. I think it's very easy already. But let's say there will be a fourth one, especially for the US, and if they apply it for the US, it will be for everybody as well. What else is going on? There will be, our support will be, they're working very hard on support. I know support is not perfect yet, but keep in mind we're growing pretty fast, and people have to understand we have to grow with the company as well.
I heard, Mike, there's about
over 80,000 people.
Over 80,000 now, is there? You're saying there's over 80,000 people in USI now?
I can tell you exactly. Hold on. No, we got the app. Let me see. Where's it? Where's my app? Oh, there it is. I have to log in. Hold on. I check here. We're 81,000 at the moment. A little bit more than 81,000.
Unbelievable. Okay, cool. Listen, I've got a room full of people here. I was just going to ask if there's any questions that anybody wants to. This is where they all go shy. But is there anybody that wants to ask a question?
I've got a tricky question.
You got a tricky question? Okay.
In your hi, was it Mike? Was it?
Mike. Yeah.
Hi, Mike. My name's Graham. Hi, mate. In your experience, now obviously I know you don't have a crystal ball. No one does. But in your experience of financial markets and everything else, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say that this business is in risk factor?
What's high risk? 10 or 1?
Well, sorry. Well, let's say 10 is gold and 1 is credit cards.
So 1 is high risk.
So
you broke.
Sorry, maybe I should put that.
Yeah.
If I say 1 is gold.
Lost you quick. 1 is gold and 10 is
gold and say
no.
Yeah, forex.
I would say the following. I mean, the forex market is a high risk market, right? But risk is always something. If you can control the risk, it's a different situation. Everything did so far is, you know, we do nice performance, and I think John probably mentioned that already in the presentation. None of the account lost any money because highest priority is always to secure the funds, to make sure nobody loses money, and then is performance. So they never look for crazy performance and crazy income, all, you know, and jeopardize the initial invest. So is it possible that you would lose your money in the forex area? In theory, definitely, yes. If every of the 20 currency pairs would move in one direction, it's over as well. Did it ever happen in the history of the forex market? No. So I see it, if you look at it on a long-term run, I say in 12 months to 1, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I see it as moderate risk. If you want daily performance, it's the wrong product. But it's not a daily, it's not a day or weekly or monthly performance product. It's a long-term product. The second, the BTC area, is there a risk? The same philosophy is not to lose any of our BTCs, so they're not looking for crazy risks or crazy alliance with companies who taking high risks. I mean, you guys know we went into mining with our own mining. Mining is pretty boring. So the only risk you have there is the price of the Bitcoin. If you mine, for example, 30 Bitcoins each machine, and the price is on 20,000, or if it's on 100, that would be the risk. Does it look like the Bitcoin price would go down? I don't think so the next couple of years. So I don't have the crystal ball, but I don't see much risk there. Arbitrage trading, what they're doing is always a risk involved, but you buy something and sell it right away. The trading of cryptocurrencies and using maybe some IPOs as well, as long as you diversify to keep the story stored, is always a risk involved, but you have to see the company is never taking high risk. It's always rather do nothing in a positive way. Do not take a trade, do not go into a market, then risk something. So that's how they think, and that's how they do it. So they keep and try to keep the risk as low as possible.
And Mike, am I right in saying that the company at all times have got a like a reserve pool?
Yeah, that too. I mean, the profit they make right now, I don't know exactly how much profit they make in the BTC area, but it's not like they spending the money and go crazy and open up huge offices or whatever. They're very basically down to earth, so building reserves and exactly. Because there could be rainy days, and so far there are no, but they're preparing. So step by step, they're always looking for other possibilities to diversify, the BTC area, so it's not everything in for example, on the mining or on the arbitrage or the trading. The more they can diversify, the better, sorry, and the less risk for us all.
Fantastic.
At worst case, keep in mind, let's say there will be no performance, then they just stop with the packages right away until they're back on track. That's not the case, but just that there's like a safety switch programmed, and I think that's important to know as well.
Yeah, I think it's very reassuring. I remember Hall saying that when we did the UK mini tour, he said that very thing. If they're not going to be able to deliver at that point, the main thing is secure the Bitcoin, so nobody loses anything. And if you need to stop for a while, and that package isn't working, then that's fine. And that's why you do diversify and have other products coming on board. So that's
yep.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions in the room? To the floor? Quick one.
How do you see SegWit panning out in the next few weeks, and will USI Tech do anything differently with that coming up?
Did you hear that, Mike?
No. Say again, please. Or
no, it's a tricky one. I'm not going to ask it. No. SegWit. How do you see SegWit panning out? I know it might not be your expertise, but what is? Do you know what the company view on it is?
I'm not the expert yet, but I asked that the question too, and we have that Bitcoin consultant. He's pretty good. What I understood, they totally relaxed about it because the technology that SegWit or the other part of it will bring is obviously not working. The big mining corporations already agreed to go the way where the main coin is. So he sees no risk that the price will go up and down until August 1st. That we see already. But for example, that's how you say that comes from the Bitcoin consultant, I want to say, but he sees when after August 1st he will see a clear increase of the price. Until then, they probably will move back and forth, right? It is $2,000, $2,500 up and down. So he sees no risk. He's very, very relaxed about this.
Yeah, I think certainly talking to other people, that is the view that he's coming back. They're going to maintain their Bitcoin, because some of these people will cash into fiat currencies and then buy back in. But a lot of these experts don't see the need to do that. So I think it's a lot of hot air, and I think there's not going to be that much movement until it's finished. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, it's running Thailand.
Is it?
running in Thailand?
Is it running in Thailand? Yeah.
Yeah, it's running there. We don't have the biggest business, but we have, in a positive way, let's say not the networkers, but we have a strong investor base. They're building it. We're pretty good there as well. We're there, yes. And Bitcoins are running very good because you can pay, by the way, your phone bill with Bitcoins, gas, electricity. You can go to 7-Eleven. You can even go to the bank. It's not a problem to exchange and do stuff with Bitcoins there. It's very, very...
In Thailand, that you're referring to, Mike, yeah?
Yep, correct.
Okay. Any other questions before I just... the only other thing I wanted you to talk about is the Mallorca incentive, because that's coming towards an end at the end of August. You know, do you know numbers on that at the moment, Mike? Because there's a lot of people qualifying for it.
I'm not know the exact number, but I can tell you probably, I think from the 100% who qualified, I don't think that 100% will come because, you know, people from Asia, it's a long way. So, by the way, I think next week they should go out. Hold on a sec, the dog is, what are you doing here?
That's that cologne.
Yeah, is looking at me and taps on my probably tell me to get some food. What do you want to say? I think about 40% will probably come, but we were prepared, so it will be some good days. I can tell you, we have some nice surprises.
Good. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you buying me a beer.
Surprises, you get a beer.
Good man. Okay, listen, I'm conscious of your time. I know you've been traveling a lot. You've only just got back the last couple of days. So we really appreciate you joining us on the Hangout and live from Maidstone. So thanks very much, Mike. And no doubt I'll give you a call tomorrow. And
now the dog jumped on me. That's okay.
Okay.
It's not really
thanks.
I don't know what it is. It's a piece of hair. Okay, guys, thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hope to see you all on the 28th.
Look forward to it. A round of applause as well. So off you go. Go and feed the dog or whatever you want to do with him.
Take care.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
I'll see you in Mallorca. Take care.
Yeah, no, you will. Okay, so I think Lee's had to jump off the call. So for those that are listening on the Hangout, it is recorded. We do this every single Wednesday, 8 o'clock UK time. So make sure you send the link out to your teams and get them on the call. With anybody that's looking at it for the first time, go back to the sponsor that's invited you to this call. These calls are for your benefit. So thank you for listening. We'll see you next week, and good night. Thanks a lot.